Well, if you caught President Obama's news conference yesterday, you might have thought he sounded a little bit testy, tap dancing around a question about his voting record as a senator against raising the debt ceiling. How is that different, the reporters wanted to know, from his current position in which he wants to raise the debt ceiling? But you don't hear much about his contradictory stand in the mainstream media. Why not? Let's go to our News Watch panel. Ellen Ratner is Bureau Chief of Talk Radio News Service, also a Fox News contributor. Radio talk show host Mary Walter also with us. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Mary, what about that? In 2008, President Obama was on the campaign trail, bragging about the fact that he had, voted against voted against raising the debt ceiling. That was at a time when our national debt was much smaller than it is now.
I don't know, John. Sounds like a little Romnesia, doesn't it? Listen, this is what happens. This is what they do, and you're not going to hear it from the media because have you ever noticed whenever something happens with this administration, there's always a special circumstance with it. There's always a reason why it's not hypocrisy this time. There's always a reason why it's different this time, and that's their way of, I guess, kind of expunging what little record he has on voting when he was a senator. And this way they make an excuse for him every time. Well, it's not the same this time as it was when Bush wanted to do it. And that's what they're going to do, and they're going to continue to do that for the next 4 years, and I think we're all kind of used to it by now.
Let me read part of a floor speech that Senator Barack Obama gave on the Senate floor in 2006, Ellen. He said, leadership means that the buck stops here. Instead, Washington is shifting the burden of bad choices today onto the backs of our children and grandchildren. America has a debt and a failure of leadership. Americans deserve better. I therefore intend to oppose the effort to increase America's debt limit. That was what Senator Obama had to say. Why does it not apply now that he's president?
Well, first of all, I don't understand why it applies or not applies. I mean, that's what he addressed in his press conference. What I do want to address is the mainstream media. And a lot of people think it's a liberal bias, and it may be liberal bias. I don't know. I'm a liberal, so okay. But what I do think it may be is media laziness. And I have to fault the mainstream media for not putting side by side the president's comments with his votes. I think that American people, no matter who is president, whether it's President Bush or President Obama, deserve to see somebody's votes. Of course, President Bush was a governor, but he still had policies. And the president's vote should have been right out there in front in the mainstream media.
Mary, is it media laziness, or is it the fact that under a George W. Bush presidency, it was easier for the media to pile on, the coverage of the debt ceiling and the explosion in the debt that began back then?
The media is not lazy when they're looking for something that they want to look for. Remember, this is the same media that dug up one of Rick Santorum's wife's ex-boyfriends from high school. So the media is not lazy when they want to find something. They don't want to find this on Obama. He's their guy, and it is a liberal bias because if they wanted to find it, they could find it. They choose not to. There's no excuse.
Ellen, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, there's just no excuse for it.
Oh. Ellen, he walked back some of what he said in 2006, essentially by saying, well, when you're a senator, you vote for different things than when you're president, and really it was just a protest vote, and it was meaningless, and,
of course.
Again, does that kind of thing get covered?
Look, that was an absurd response. That's just not true. I mean, you have to be held accountable for your votes and your actions, and we held President Bush accountable, and President Obama can say, I've had a change in heart, and then give the reasons, but don't belittle your vote.
All right. I want to turn your attention to another topic that's in the news. The Wall Street Journal talked about this the other day. The fact that Twitter has become such a presence in mainstream media coverage. Almost anybody can get their opinions out there by sending a tweet to, some of the big four networks. And occasionally here on Fox, we use Twitter. Is that a dangerous thing, Mary?
I think it's dangerous in the sense, and the only way it's dangerous, not like it's a danger, but I think it's irresponsible because you don't know who, Superman Underoos 21 really is. You don't know who it is. To me, you don't know who these people are, and you're quoting them on television and making them legitimate. If you want a legitimate source, then you find someone who is credible and can act as a credible source. It's like asking to me when you use these Twitter comments on something like the debt ceiling, you might as well ask Honey Boo Boo's mom what she thinks, because for all you know, you're reading her tweet on television about it. It's irresponsible. I don't like it.
Ellen, irresponsible?
Well, it is irresponsible. We wouldn't let anybody in our news organization do that. Now, as you know, TV and radio has always used man on the streets, but people are then associated with a voice or a picture, and that is a very responsible. The only way you could do this is to say, hey, we've gotten 2,000 tweets, and, 50% of them are this and 50% of them that. Not a scientific poll, but certainly that would be a much more journalistic way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
So you think that that sort of anonymous tweets that really could come from anywhere in the world? I mean, as far as we know, we are occasionally putting, I don't know, Russian KGB members or something, putting their thoughts on Twitter. You would be in favor of just getting rid of that kind of thing, Ellen?
Absolutely. I think that anonymous tweets do not belong on TV or radio.
All right. Ellen Ratner, Mary Walter.
And Ellen and I agree. It's a sign of the coming apocalypse.
My goodness. Hope not. All right. Thank you both.